I remember I was working in a bank somewhere and oh Jesus, this client told me, and the customer is always right. This client told me, he was trying to hit on me and I was like, no, I'm not feeling your vibe. Thank you very much. Sorry. So he told me, I'm doing you a favor. Given that you're a single mom.
Hey.
I was like, wow.
Special shout out to Staycation with Wamboi for scouting for us this beautiful Airbnb for us to shoot this episode. If you are looking for an Airbnb in Mombasa or in Nairobi, check her out and she will hook you up with the best deals. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Maggie and welcome to another episode of Motherhood Stories. Today I'm joined by a beautiful girl. I call her beautiful girl from the day I met her. By the way, she's so beautiful. Her name is Esther. She's going to share her journey as a single parent or single mom, the way most people say it. This is just an episode to see if there are aspects that stand out in her parenting journey, how she got there, and this is it's an episode that's going to encourage someone, hopefully, not to feel alone and to embrace the situation because this is life. So, karibu sana, Esther.
Thank you. I feel like a star.
Beautiful woman.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Esther KAMAU. I am 32 years old. I am a mom. I am someone's daughter. I am trying to retain my edges.
You have ages.
Yeah, I'm trying to. We're trying to retain
keep them.
Yeah, because
forehead.
Don't come from And I'm excited to have this conversation I'm very passionate about motherhood. It's a very big part of my life. So yes, I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for being here. We met a month. A month?
Yeah, about a month.
It's about a month. Yeah. It's 18th It's February or January. It's January.
Almost a month and a half.
A month and a half at a mothering event, and Mothering the Woman event. And I was so happy to meet someone bubbly. I didn't have someone to sit with other than my friend, and when she was on stage, so you were there.
Yeah.
And we bonded, and I was like, I need you to come to my channel. So thank you for honoring my invite. My platform is not so big, but...
it's not small. It's
thank
not
you
small.
For
I
sharing.
promise you it's not small.
Oh, wow. Thank
you. Yes.
I needed to hear that.
Yes. It's not small
So
at all.
I'm happy that you're here. And we're talking about motherhood. Before, we were saying you really don't know what's different because motherhood is motherhood.
Yes.
But we're going to touch on your life, how you became a single mom, how was your journey? Those are the things we want to know. How is day to day as the parent, the single parenting? I feel like single parenting is easier than single mom. I don't know.
We will have
Do people say single dads?
Imagine, ironically, they don't say it as often. They just call you a dad.
Yeah,
you're
but
just
when you're
a dad.
mom, you're
but
single.
When you are a mom,
single mother.
It's huyo ni single, huyo ni single mother. So just weka anga ukijua huyo
ni single mother.
Don't catch it. Don't catch that.
So there's a lot of stigma.
A lot. Quite a lot. I became a mom at 24. I was pregnant. I got pregnant at 23. We were, yes, girl. I was doing the most. I got pregnant at 23. I had my baby at 24. I was definitely not the most ideal circumstances. My firstborn, where I come from, there are certain expectations, I come from a very Christian background. So it was a reality that was very hard, not just for me, but also for my family. But I can say that my partner at the time he was present. Although it was a very, I'd say a very toxic relationship.
You were living together?
No, we were
When
not
you're
living
pregnant?
together. No, so what happened is I got pregnant, and then
Then you
now
moved in.
we moved in together.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So after, because it's the right thing to do.
Was it moving because you're pregnant, or moving because now you need to stay together, or moving because you're married? I don't know.
All the above. It is the right thing to do.
So he came home and everything.
He came home
okay.
and the whole thing. So it's like we're having a conversation of this is supposed to lead to marriage after the baby is here,
after the baby,
and so on and so forth. And wow, God knows, both of us were not ready for that kind of commitment.
I like the way you're saying it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Because society has an expectation. You're pregnant. Go live with nanny.
Yes.
Get married. Then the baby comes. Of what a family is.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
That's the idea of what a family should look like.
Before even you talk about that, how was your pregnancy?
My pregnancy was fantastic. In fact, I have a friend.
I usually wonder such people, what plans did you make?
Let me tell you, it was phenomenal.
Oh, wow.
I have a and I'll keep referencing her throughout this period. And we were pregnant at the same time. So she would complain about something and I'd feel so bad because I could not relate. Yeah. So now even when she was complaining, I'd be like, yeah, I know. Yeah. But me, I was
nausea,
fine.
nothing.
I think I had nausea maybe once at the very beginning. This is how I actually found out I was pregnant. My mother is a gorgeous woman. You should see, like, gorgeous. No pimple, no
like
wrinkle. I wasn't ready. You've gone there so quickly. God. So she's always used glycerin and Vaseline or Valon together. Our entire lives, she's always told us to use it. But I've always hated how sticky glycerin is. So this is how I found out I was pregnant. I used glycerin. In my mind, my mind processed ikaenda, I think this thing is going to be nice for my skin. I shocked myself. I was like, no.
That's what made you
There's
think you're
something
pregnant.
going on here. Something is amiss somewhere. Na nikajipaka, and then after a while I started feeling hot because it's sticky. Especially the one for
glycerin is sticky.
It's sticky even. It's just sticky and hot, but it's so good for your skin.
I didn't know.
It is. It really is.
You use it?
It's very hydrating.
You don't use it?
I don't. It was just that one time. That's why I'm telling you it was an abnormality.
Thing,
So I went like, but by the way, why am I using glycerin? Something is off. And then now I started doing the math. Is it, could you be pregnant? Oh my God, you're pregnant. And then when I did the test, it comes out very clearly. You know,
were you living home?
I was living at home. I remember I took that test. I was in my last year in campus. Yani just at the finish line. Then I took the test, and there have been no clearer 2 lines I have ever seen in my life. It was very clear.
Haraka.
Red. Nikachukua ingine red. Wow. Inamaanisha positive. You Google. Does this really mean yeah. So that was how I found out. And then I went for a scan. And then I found out I was 3 months along.
3 months.
My first whole trimester had gone by. And I hadn't known I was just fine.
Were you still with your partner?
I was still with my partner.
How do you tell your mom? You're living at home.
So first I told him. So when I told him, and then I was very defensive. I'm pregnant and I'm keeping it, okay? It's my child. I didn't even give him a chance to respond. And then he was like, do you want a girl or a boy? And okay, it seems like we are going to be in this together.
Yeah.
So for my mom, I was so terrified. I think even to date when I talk about it, I feel emotional because I usually feel like I think that is the day that I disappointed her.
You're a firstborn. I
am. I feel like when I do something, I feel like I don't want to disappoint you. I feel like I need to. I'm so sorry. So I decided to save up some money. To save up some little money. I think I had like 10,000. And then I put it in my back pocket. And then I told her one early morning at like 6 o'clock. So that in the case...
What a way to start the day.
I know. In the case that she kicks me out...
Your money.
I have money in my pocket and it's early in the morning. I have a whole day to figure out where to go and what to do. And so I remember I told her. And she was like, Muthoni, And she told me quite a bit, wow. I was told. And of course you understand where she's coming from. Because of, like, you know your child now, my mom.
You understand what she was scared of,
what her anxiety could be, because you would want to shield your kids from some realities for
and
as
you're
long
a girl
as
mom. Yeah.
And for as long as you can.
Yeah.
And so I totally understand where she's coming from. And I remember I told her, and then she left. And then after like 1 hour when she left, she called me and told me, Mommy, it's going to be okay. In my mind, I went like, okay, thank God.
I know.
But I cried like 2 weeks straight. I felt like such a disappointment. I felt like my life is over. By the way, for sure, in my mind, when I was doing the math, the logic,
there was no
in my mind, I'm like,
at the end.
Yeah, it's a wrap. We're done, guys. Tuzime stima, tokens zimeisha, we're done. Let's go home.
Where are you going?
I don't know. In my mind, I just felt
Life
like,
was
this is
just
it, I'm
over.
done. I am just on the tail end of finishing my degree. I don't have a job. My partner at the time was, getting some money here and there, but was not stable.
Oh, you were at the end of finishing your degree?
Yes.
Okay.
I had like 1 semester left.
So
like
you went to school pregnant?
Yes, I did. So the irony is that people didn't even notice. I think because I'm a particular, size. Kina bien. They're doing a lot of work for us. Thick thighs. I'm like, you should see me listening to that. I'm like, yes. So my pregnancy didn't show. I was just looking like I've added weight. So I went to campus until like April. And then I took a break, and then I had her in June. So when I went back, I think I just had 1 break. So when I went back and posting pictures of her,
people are like,
what do you mean your child? As in, I don't understand. I saw you. But it was a very difficult period. So we moved in together, and of course now I've been thrown into the role of wife, mother, homemaker. Not that I was clueless, but I was.
You were clueless.
I was okay, yeah. By the way, I was
clueless.
clueless.
Those
I
are
was
so many things
I
at
was
once.
clueless because just last year
You were partying.
I was going to, like, what are you doing? So, it was a lot. It was a lot. I felt like I'm so confined, and then I think something I'd like to say is, like, when people have kids, please, even if it is in the most ideal circumstances, please go visit, check on them, call them. Do not isolate, because I genuinely felt like, okay, now you're good, you're sorted, you're married, quote unquote, you're good.
And then people have the mentality of, I need to give them space to adjust.
That's the thing. No,
And
I don't
think so.
I don't need that. I don't know what I'm doing. That's the thing. I really have no idea what I'm doing. So why are you leaving me? You guys, the baby cries. Alafu anapewa, they are given to their mother.
Pia we unatafuta mother. Who's mother?
I'm like, hey, even me, guys, even me, I don't know. Even me, I don't know. In fact, you've mothered me for 30 years. Ebu, you maybe figure it out.
But they, just kidogo. How was your delivery?
I labored, I think, usually people, I tell this to people and they're like, but I labored for like 2 hours. I had a good old time, but that 2 hours, I remember I was Googling. I'm a person for preparedness. I like to Google. I like to know what's coming. That's how my mind works. I like to know that if I come with 5 kilos of this, it will be enough for this. Good. That's what you need to move here on your story. Let's not dwell on just
So you were
here.
prepared.
So I was Googling, and then I saw a video. I think I was about 7 months along. Something in my stupidity told me to go into the YouTube
And check what?
and check a mother giving birth. I am 7 months along. I can't go back. I can't undo it. I can't go like,
There's no
I'm
other
not
exit
pregnant.
plan.
No, Toka. No, Rudy. Okay, that thing. What?
I used to wonder, can the baby forget to come out?
You know?
Because, man, how did I
How are you coming out of something?
How are you coming out?
Jesus,
It's so
that
scary.
thing. And so what I did, I worked out. I was walking. I was swimming. I was... what do you do when you're in labor? I had a playlist. I remember that time Skelewo had come out. Skele. So I remember I'm getting a contraction. The nurses used to laugh. I get a contraction. Skele. And because it was 2 hours, it was 2 hours of intense labor. I mean, I'd never had a cramp in my life. up until that
You
time.
were baby girl.
So
in
the
this
shock
womanhood.
of my life, I'm like, how are you, my body, doing this to me? Hiyo kitu ilini traumatize. I think hata saizi nasikia something.
I understand
Yeah,
what you're
I'm
saying.
feeling it's getting hot. It's not, it was not an easy So it was 2 hours of intense labor, but I had a really good labor. The nurses were amazing, the doctors were amazing. I just popped her out, just like out. I didn't have any complications, so for that I'm always grateful. And then Angie, even throughout the pregnancy, she was very healthy. I was also very healthy, but she was a big baby. She was a big baby. She was 3.7 kgs.
And you pushed.
Like a champ.
Hey!
Like a champ. Like, you know the way you can say like a champ first and then you're like, ay, but no.
But no.
I was not.
Hey!
Okay, like what jokes? Like what jokes?
So how was it adjusting to the motherhood and the marriage? Not fresh. You're fresh into everything.
Yes.
Did you have a support system? How was it?
I had a support system. I did. My family I have like 7 aunties. Fantastic aunties. Phenomenal women. However, so they'd pop by, you know, they'd come in. This one washes the dishes today. This one washes the
those
clothes
things
tomorrow.
mean a lot.
What?
When you look
Actually,
back.
one time a friend of mine came and she told me, give me the baby.
Go sleep.
Go cut
do
your
something,
nails.
eh?
No. Go cut your nails. Take a shower. Brush your teeth. And then here's some money. Go wash your hair and blow dry it.
Then come back.
And then come back. And then you can have your baby back. I remember I did that. It looked so basic. But I felt like what? People exist like this in the world? Wow. So I did have support. People would come in. Even his family would come in and help here and there. But of course, primarily it was just me and him. Now, of course, generally, I don't know if this is a bad generalization, but women have a good sense of knowing how to navigate things as they come better. From my experience as a woman, I am biased,
like this.
Guys. I'm biased because I'm a woman.
I understand
so
what you mean.
I would do things like this, like that. So for him, it took a lot of time. Now, in retrospect, when I was in it, by the way, he was a monster. I was like, nini where. But now, when you think about something, generally, when you think about things in hindsight, you get more clarity.
Especially if you become self-aware.
Yes, you get more clarity and realize that it was not just happening to me. It was also happening to him.
Yeah.
And so, and you know, given the personalities we have, in terms of how we were very combative with each other, because of now this thing, the baby is crying. Me, I don't know. What do you want? It's not a fever. I've breastfed you. I've changed you. I've washed you. I've massaged you. What do you want?
If
so
it's to sleep, you sleep. That's what
now
you think.
and then.
And then.
Where is the manual? You don't have a point of reference.
Yeah.
So I'd put her aside. I'd put her aside and then I sit down and then I cry. It's like, by the time she's sleeping, even me, I'm tired from the crying because I was like, we can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And it's usually so difficult. It's easy, I guess, for people watching now as I'm telling the story to go like, no, but you are okay and you're fine now. But I think when you're going through the thick of it,
so alone.
You feel so alone, so isolated. You feel like this thing is I don't know what to do. We're already here.
Yeah.
And then people could consider as a precursor. Don't look at even her story and think now that she's telling us. It's not because you're gifted in one way or another. No, it's because now you have the privilege of looking back at your story.
Yeah.
And also, and I think we're going to get to that, it's also something that's continuing. Because even that part me, I didn't know.
Let's talk about,
yes.
We're talking about you adjusting into motherhood and ups and downs. How do you end up being the only parent?
You remain alone. So what? It's a good question. I've actually never thought about it. So what happened is now because of that combative nature.
The reason I'm actually asking is because society just assumes.
Mm.
There's
It was
too
a
many
one-night stand.
Yes.
And I was looking for a mubaba. And then
Society has a lot of assumptions,
Yeah.
not bearing into fact that people end up in this circumstance differently. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Because people die, you know.
People die.
You know.
I know.
You can be a single parent.
Yeah,
So
that's
and then
true.
you're always feeling compelled to explain yourself.
And in fact, when you say you're a single mom, that's not the first thing someone will think. Your spouse died. No. What did you?
What didn't you do?
Yeah.
What didn't you do?
Yeah.
So it was very combative in nature, the relationship, and it became very toxic for the both of us. There was a lot of abuse. There was a lot of it was very intense. Emotions. I was very hypersensitive.
Postpartum. Generally. Yeah.
Wildly hypersensitive. Anything could trigger me anyhow. And then, you know, I've been blessed by his parents, my parents, and you know, and you know, at least tumeficha aibu.
Mnaishi pamoja,
walikuja, they did the respectable thing.
Yeah.
So, and then being that I'm the one to set an example for the rest of my siblings, I was feeling like, okay, you
can't fail in this one.
Already I did the thing before marriage, and the world knows. Now I'm also failing at this thing. Yeah. So you stay for the wrong reasons. And so at some point, I think it was just a day, nilikuwa nafua, I remember very vividly. I was washing my clothes, the clothes generally. It was about 4 months. I was washing the clothes. I was sitting down, you know, doing it as slowly as I can because we didn't have help at the time. And I remember something very stupid. Just the way I found out I was pregnant. I saw, you know, the way on tiles, there's cement. Katikati. And then it spills over. So inakaa a bit messy. I saw it. And I remember I cried. I was like, why? Why are these tiles like this?
In your house?
In my house now. Why are these tiles like this? And I took a knife and I started scraping it off. While I was scraping it off, I started thinking, what are you doing? Guy, Esther, are you losing your mind?
Yeah.
Because that's like, you know,
now
mad.
When you say me, I'm like, hey,
yeah,
what
it's
was
like
happening?
mad people tendencies. If you are watching, you'd think like, oh no, she's gone.
Lost her mind.
It's in the past. This one, let's get another one. So I remember I was scraping it, and then something just stopped me, and I was asking myself, why is this thing making you so hysterical? And I remember I took Angie. I didn't take anything else, and I left in my night dress.
Huh?
Yeah, I was in my night dress. Not night dress. It was like this long t-shirt. The ones that they're very comfortable. I was in that.
I know the t-shirt dress.
And you know I can make anything look cute.
Yeah. Beautiful.
You know, and I just took Angie and I left. And I took an umbrella, I remember. And so I started walking, and when I was walking, I was thinking, now where am I going?
So did you carry everything?
No, I didn't carry anything. That's the thing. I carried nothing.
You just carried the baby?
I just carried the baby because I realized this is not an environment. I cannot exist like this in the world. Now, when I got pregnant, I remember the first thing that came to my mind was, you are not going to be a good mother. You are not going to be a good mother to your daughter. And then, oh yes, at the time she was crying. So as opposed to going to take her, I noticed the tile.
And you were scraping
and I was scraping it, and she was crying. And so I remembered that thought coming back to me, telling me, by the way, you remember you had thought you were not going to be a good mother? There you go.
Oh no.
You are not a good mother, Esther. What is this you're doing to your child? Because I didn't have, that was more urgent. Scraping the tile seemed more urgent to me at the time than picking Angie up.
That's postpartum.
Yes. And making sure that she's okay.
Yeah.
Because this thing, it bothered me. Guy, I cannot tell you the intensity I was feeling. Why is this thing like this? And I started crying. And
were you alone?
I was alone in the house. And I remember Angie started crying. Maybe she had woken up from a nap or something. You know, the way kids are cranky. So I didn't think like...
Good for the kid.
And then at the time I was like, hey, anyway, you're not a good mother.
Oh no.
Anyway, your child is crying and you're busy here taking care of the house. What's wrong with you? Scraping things. And then I realized the relationship was not the problem. The relationship was a symptom of the things that I had already started, like where I come from and how I've been raised, and that trauma of this and that and that. It was just a symptom. It was just something that seemed attractive because it's familiar. And I had to take ownership of that. I chose that person myself.
Chaguo lako.
Ni sikuwekewa gari. Hivi niliona tu hivi snack. Wow. Hello. Let's make a baby, you know. And so and I don't like it when I listen to people, and especially in, you know, coming from such situations, looking at it from this happened to me.
Okay.
It's important, very important, to recognize that life is starting from you going outward. Okay. Whether you're making a decision or not, you are making a decision. So I attracted this person.
Why?
It was why.
Yeah.
So this is to say there was a button already existing way before I'd even met this person that needed to be taken care of. It was just waiting to be pressed. And this person is the one that pressed it. Because more often than not, you'll attract what you have deficiency in, that person has. So you complement each other in a very good way, in the sense that our toxicities they're like, wow, we are so in love, our toxic nature. And then also the things that are, you know, our core strengths, and they also complementing each other. So that's often the kind of person that you find. And so, because I'm so naturally in conflict, I run. Me, I stay. Atitubishane. I'll be like, I'll either run or shut down.
Okay.
It's like, no, me, I'm not doing this.
So that's how you walked
I've
away.
checked out. And then him, it was tuende. So it's fight or flight.
Combating now.
So we met each other perfectly. And so that's why we kept staying, because there was just some attractiveness about it. And so I just woke up and I left.
With your umbrella.
With my umbrella.
So it was raining?
My baby, no? It was sunny. That was the only thing
I don't know why I didn't think it was sunny.
Nilikuwa najua nilikuwa na mtoto. I think hiyo ndio kitu nilikuwa na miss most about those days. Juu sasa nikitembea na mwavuli kukiwa na mvua. I mean kukiwa na jua, people will judge me.
Like, kitambo it was just the umbrella.
Yes, because it's like, at least you guys are feeling hot. Me, I'm fine. And so I left. And when I left, I took a really long time to actually go back home.
Where did you go to then?
To my friends. I was like house hopping. I felt so ashamed to actually go back home and be like, hello, unakumbuka ule mtoto mlikuwa amepea? Nimerudi. I felt so guilty. I felt like such a failure.
For how long were you house hopping?
Like about 2 months.
What?
Yes, I did it.
And then, did you have like kidogo clothes?
No.
Huh?
We just started. You know, you can find clothes for 10 bob. Me, you can find 5 bob. Me, I don't need much. I didn't
survive.
I just in my mind thought, if I go back, I will never leave. And it took so much.
Hey, that is a lot.
To be able to actually wake up and leave.
No job,
nothing. It was this period of between July, because I remember I went back to school in September. So we didn't stay long together, like in the same house. So that period, that's when all these things happened.
And to you, that's a short period. It could beat you up, like, I'm going back home already.
A proper beating. And then I've never been, ever in my life, I've never been a small girl. I've been more toned for sure. Now I'm excusing bad behavior. I've been more fit, but I've never had a small body. I remember I lost so much weight. I'd look at myself now. Everything that I'm thinking about myself, I can confirm in the mirror. I'm just looking at myself, you're not pretty, you're not lovable. Oh. And then when you're in that situation, in your mind, because of the things that you guys have said to each other, you're so broken, and you believe everything that was said so much that you're like, I'd probably never find love. Who would love this anyway? I mean,
because of the things you were told for a long time.
And so it took a very long time. I've not thought about it in a while.
I know.
Well,
You're unpacking.
I am unpacking. Hata mimi nashtuka na story niko hata sisi tuko hivi kwa kichwa yangu. And then what happened?
Because I can imagine 2 months with a baby moving from your friends to another
and not
friend.
because, and by then not because my parents could not have taken me back or anything. I was just so ashamed to go back.
And that's why so many single moms are just stuck.
Yeah.
There are people stuck in marriages, but they're single moms.
Yes, 100,000%. And I finally went back home.
What led to that? Like 2 months of house hopping?
My friend called my mom.
A friend that now you went to stay with?
I was staying with.
Oh.
And she called my mom, and at the time I felt like she betrayed me. Like, why would you?
She had stayed with you for how long?
But she's like, I think 2-3 weeks or so.
Yo, ni mob. Namtoi.
Alafu, she's seeing.
You're not
because
okay.
Those tendencies of like not losing it, but nika naachilia kidogo. They were getting more and more and more intense. I'm so forgetful. I look at Angie. She clearly needs to eat. I'm not there. Yeah. So she was like, if we continue like this, I don't know, I can't handle this because she's not going to be okay. So she called my mom.
Did they know what you're going through? Your friends, the ones you were going to visit?
Okay, they knew they had a good idea of what had happened.
Okay.
And God bless them. Wow.
God bless them. I think 3 weeks. It's a lot. Especially if someone does not even know the journey of parenting and then now they're there with the baby.
They're not familiar with it.
It's a lot.
But they were so kind and they loved babysitting. And then, we're all in campus. You have a lot of free time. So everyone is holding the baby. We were young girls. They go party and then they come back. They tell me, you go. We'll stay with Angie. Oh. So I let loose and then I come back and then it's like I'm not okay. I've not adjusted yet. So it was, I was a mess, a genuine mess. I wasn't eating. I was not, showering, things you take for granted.
I know.
So she went like, no. She called my mom. I remember my mom came.
Did you know she's called your mom?
No, I didn't know. I spoke to my mom. She okay, we didn't actually speak. There was no conversation. I remember. Now I remember. She just, what are her things?
She came to collect you.
Collect my people. Shall figure them out to compare. And that's how I went back home. I remember tukiwa kwa hiyo cab. Nikirudi home. Kumevaa sweta ya white na jeans ya blue. Nakumbuka ulikuwa kuna drizzle. Kwa nakaa cute, but nilikuwa nimeisha. I remember I wanted to cry, but I felt, no, you have to be a nigga. I don't know. Like,
stop making me laugh.
You have to be strong.
Yeah.
And iyo kukaa ngumu, I stayed in that state for a very long time even after that. So now after that, I went back to school. I finished. I got a sales job there. Now I'm starting to get my footing. But I did not address the issue for that transition. I didn't mentally unpack it properly. And it has taken quite a lot of time. I got indifferent. So for me, generally speaking, I'm very solution oriented. What is the problem?
How do we solve it?
Yeah. What are the options? 1, 2, 3. Pick one. Okay? 20. It didn't work. Let's do 2 and 3. We see what happens. And so because I couldn't put this in a box, I couldn't comprehend what has happened. It took me such a long time. So I just shut that part down. And I did that for quite a long time.
So your parents were helping you at least take care of the baby?
1,000%. I remember, and I think this is the time when I started really seeing my especially my dad, my mom as well. Hi mom, kesi ya washi. My mom too. But my mom has always been consistent like that. The thing that now shocked me to see my dad as a grandfather was like, what?
Actually, they become so different from how they were as
parents. But I was here. Yeah. Daddy, ni mimi mtoto wako. Nipende hivi. My dad as a grandfather has been such a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah.
Because those like two mannerisms, like the very childlike behaviors.
They become children. This
is so amazing to see.
I'm so happy you had that support.
And I did, and it's there to date. So that's why when when people talk about single mothers, I don't know that I qualify. What is a single mother? I don't know. Who qualifies? Because I've always had community around me. I've always, either it's her school, it's my sisters. My sisters have been phenomenal in the whole journey. Of course, they are, auto to beef here and there. It's like, those
firstborns.
this unasumbua, una complain nini? Relax.
Firstborns.
But they all came together and decided, it was not even a conversation. It was, me, I'm not here. And I tell this to everyone, and they're usually shocked. Last year was the first year in Angie's life that I needed a house manager.
Oh.
Yes. She has always been surrounded by family.
Wow.
So I'm going to work, my dad is home. I'm going to work, my mom is home. I'm going to work, my sister is home. I'm going to work, my other sister is home. I'm going to work, my cousin is home. There's someone in the house.
Yeah.
And then I remember when we moved, I moved out of now my parents' home.
How long did you stay home?
Well, a long time.
As long as you could.
We moved in. Tuko mwaka gani? 2022. I moved in 2017. So about 3 years.
Okay.
Give or take. But I moved. I have been moving.
Moving,
since the time
back.
I moved.
Moving, coming back.
No, not really. Like, I've always been moving. Nenda home, nachukua sufuria. Nenda home, nachukua kijiko. Nenda home, nachukua blanketi. I'm always moving. So it's a state of, it's a continuous state. Yes, but I moved like out to now my own place with Angie in 2017. And then I remember my sister came and lived with me in 2018. So in 2017, I'd take her to daycare in the morning, go to work, come back in the evening, collect her. We go back home, we cook, we clean, rinse, repeat.
Okay.
So we've never really had.
Was that shift big from parents to alone?
It was both a relief, because now that is where the reality of I am a mother hit me.
And you're alone.
And I am alone-ish. Because of course now holiday inafika hivi. Quick fast. Sibahatishi to date. That is the reality. I delegate as much as I can. If there's anything I don't have to think about, if there's anything anyone else can do, me, I am a strong believer in delegation. Very much so.
And they are happy to have her.
Love it. In fact, now, especially because of the first years, my dad would be like, na mnakuja lini? When we go for a sleepover, he's like, do you have to go?
Do you have to go?
Yeah.
Na mnenda tu kwako.
So I'd say I'm privileged in that sense of experiencing single motherhood from that perspective, because I've always had support. But then I think my now journey into now my womanhood, my motherhood, those realities started hitting me properly now when I moved out to my own place. Because now when you're in your own house, there's space to think. There's no noise. You're not drowned.
And
you're also
you
raising your child yourself. So you're the biggest influence that this child, and so it comes to surface. I believe the spouse that you choose, being a wife or a husband, and being a parent, those two things, those are the things that are the most life-changing decisions that you can ever make. And they will shift you. Anything that you have ever suppressed in your life, those two things will bring them to the surface 1,000%.
Wow, that's true. Kwanza parent.
Where
you see yourself getting angry about a child doing something that you do.
And then unaenda, oh God. Enda ma. Enda. Can I?
Yeah.
And so you have to have that sense of awareness and then a lot of grace as you're doing it, because we are all winging it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all winging it.
I know, I believe so. Is there a time now it dawned on you, like emotionally, because you said you didn't unpack like all the emotions.
Yes.
Was there a time you grieved what you thought it should be? Yeah.
When I'm in spaces where Angela is having some milestones, I'd love to share that with someone. That sometimes it hits me like, yani, because you can't document and post everything, because now what is that?
You need to tell someone, she did this.
And then someone who is not necessarily in relation to her they don't understand. Like, you keep calling, I'll call my friends, and yes, they'll be happy for me, but not, like, you don't know how much of a milestone it is that she broke, like, broke her tooth. What? She did what?
Teeth.
Yeah, her first tooth came out. God, it's life-changing. Like, it looks like, oh my God, it's such a big deal. But then I'm there and I'm alone. And it's like, I wish I could share this with someone. So it's still something. It's not at now. It's not over. Like we are going to Kino or to Kikuyu at Imeisha. It's an everyday thing. But I think I'm also cognitive, something important to note. I don't think I would be the mother that I am or the woman that I am.
Had you not?
If I had a partner.
Okay.
Because it's not set in stone, this is what parenting should look like. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes. It's and not, even there's been like push for textbooks to change what parenting is. Yes. Yeah.
That idea is not set in stone. Because I have relatives that are married, friends that are married, and she'll call me to tell me something. Like, Esther, you don't know. And then even me, I'm like, I'm trying to be strong for you, but even me. And I'm like, Allah, kwani even married people
go through?
What?
Motherhood is motherhood.
Motherhood is parenthood, actually. Parenthood is parenthood.
Yeah, it just might be a bit harder.
For sure. Let me tell you, I think it also depends on the partner. Because I know there are people that are in partnerships and relationships and they feel like they're parenting alone. And that's even more isolated because if you're tired, you're going to be shamed or judged harshly for getting tired when people know. See, you have a person. What are you complaining? What are you complaining about? See, you nini too.
Yeah.
And so you're also not able, if you're in that space, you're also not able to articulate and say, but hey, guys, I'm struggling with this. Because you don't want to. There's a lot of judgment. But in essence, there's no SI unit. I don't know what preaching I was listening to. I listen to preachings. Sinione tu hizo.
On the right track.
My mother will clap for me.
Anafanya hivi.
And this preacher, that one is my child. Usione mwana wako. Yeah. Sorry, that means.
I know what it means.
Got it. We've gotten it.
Nimeshashika.
Do you get it?
Get it. If you don't get it,
forget about it. I love it. Aki kama ungeshika. England.
I know what is the preaching about.
The preaching was, this guy was saying, and I think I shared this with you the day we met. He was talking about Abraham, the father of all nations, and how God told him, take your son and take him to sacrifice him. You know the story. And they go up the mountain and the kid is asking, where's the ram? It's like, I was jolly, God will provide. And they go up, and then this dude, in his right senses, ties up the child, and then puts them on the altar. Can you imagine what was going through Isaac's mind? Much as, yes, this is God's will, this is what...
Yani ni mimi nachinjwa.
Yani, umseneza niua. Wow.
My father.
How phenomenal. Uko na mwingine? Uko na mtoto mwingine?
Hauna.
Ni mimi? Unataka kumaliza? And God provided the ram and akatoka and everything. Can you imagine what was going through Isaac's mind as they were going back down that mountain? You.
Unaangalia mtu sideways.
And so the preacher was saying, even Isaac had daddy issues.
I get you.
Because me, I've never had that extreme situation that my mother is sacrificing me. What are those? And this is the father of all nations. Whomst am I to think that I should have it figured out.
Yeah.
To think that, and I think you think about this when you become a parent. A lot of times I had issues with my parents. I was not experiencing them just being cruel to me. They were just being inadequate, like human beings. Like the way human beings are inadequate. Imagine even parents are inadequate.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so there's no space you will reach and go like, I have arrived. You have Rwani and a very cute little baby, and you're thinking, guy, these milestones. And in your mind, you would think, Angela is now 8, and oh my God, I am aspiring to get to that point. Now me, I am thinking, I am anxious. If she asks me this question, Me, I don't have an answer. What am I going to tell her? Okay, when she gets to this point, how many kgs of sugar should I give her so that she can turn out to become like Alicia Keys? How many? What am I exposing my child to? It's so trivial. It's so unending. But the fact of the matter is, parents judge each other so much when in essence, there's no point of reference.
Exactly.
Because there's drug dealers that have raised kids who have become Mother Teresa.
I know.
I don't understand how. It's just how life works. And especially for moms, I don't know if it's safe to say, but we've made mothers so amazing and you know, my mother, she is the one. You know, especially when you hear men talking about their mothers. Hey,
Angels.
Jehovah. Niko gai. Angela atawaiongea hivyo kunihusu. And then when a mom makes a mistake, married or not, the way you guys are harsh,
I know.
We shall calm down on, but it's because we've idolized motherhood so much.
Yeah.
And then we expect so little of fathers as well. That when they do something, it's okay. It's a man.
He's learning. He didn't know.
He didn't know. He's in the process of learning.
As if mothers need to know.
Right.
We need to remember your
I think we also need to talk about our mother wounds more. Like the way we talk about our daddy issues openly.
I like that word, mother wounds.
Yes. We need to address them.
Yeah.
We need to talk about the fact that my mother was amazing. And I think mtu feel guilty when you're talking about it because more often than not, your mom is the one that is present. But the truth of the matter is your mother, my mother, myself, yourself,
they have.
And the generations to come are consistently inadequate. That is just being human.
And that's human.
Yeah.
That's
so
true.
We need to change that idea.
Have you actually faced stigma because you said you're a single mom? Have you introduced yourself somewhere and you say, I'm a single mom, and you see judgment or you feel judgment, or someone has outrightly judged you for...
I think I'd say no one has ever to my face
who would dare?
Dared to come and tell me, oh, because you're a... But of course, the perception is usually different. Again, because I also look a particular way, it's like, I see why you were raised. Yeah, it happened. I remember I was working in a bank somewhere and... Oh, Jesus. This client told me, and the customer is always right. This client told me, he was trying to hit on me, and I was like, no, I'm not feeling your vibe. Thank you very much. Sorry. So he told me, I'm doing you a favor. Given that you're a single mom.
Hey!
I was like, wow. Hey, the privilege of being hit on by you is too much for me.
Hey!
However...
People are out here entitled.
Where... It is a lot.
Hey!
So it's usually not in your face for me. I think because
it's subtle, but
because
not
of my personality. I can't. Ati I'm a whore? Or what are you telling me? Why? Is that necessary? And I'll do it and we shall correct each other, and I'll give you facts. Because why would you feel a need to... Why? Is that necessary? No one would do that to my face. But there's subtleties in how you're treated, in your intellect even, So ati nikiongea and then I happen to have content. It's like, oh, what?
Coming from you, we are shocked.
That is a statement I have had.
Hey!
Yeah. Wow. Coming from you, that is so...
Huh?
Okay, yeah.
People out here have a lot of opinions.
And so I don't carry it to heart. Why? Because they're operating from a place of ignorance.
Yeah.
One, they're also operating from a very specific stereotype. That is the stereotype of a single mother. I've also stereotyped people based on X, Y, and Z. Because I was not informed, because of this, because of that. So I think with that in mind, I have the sense of awareness to decide I'm going to decide. I'm very frugal with my anger. I'm very frugal with what affects me. So you're going to affect me, and you're not. And you're going to affect me because you have this kind of influence in my life. Initially, I used to be so sensitive about it. I used to be afraid to say that I am a mom. I've never gone somewhere and gone like, I'm a single mother. It has never, when we're having conversations,
sound like a
but
thing
then
to say.
sina mutu. But generally, it's not something that I've always gone like, as a single mom, I'm like, no, I've actually mentally, it's never really registered, because there was no neglect on the person that I was with. There was no neglect on his end. And
we are co-parenting.
We are attempting to. Yeah.
I like the word attempting.
Yeah,
to.
it's where.
Just recently or throughout?
No, just recently.
Ooh.
I needed to cut links for purposes of being not judging someone for who they used to be. Because let me tell you something I have learned, and it's very hard. Someone can be a pathetic partner
and a very good
but
dad.
An amazing parent. Amazing, phenomenal parent.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's something that I have had to
swallow
and go like, what?
Why couldn't they be this good?
And because differentiating, not even that, just differentiating the man from the father.
Okay.
And it's also very unfair when women in a certain, when because you're the one with the child primarily, you're putting it as like a ransom, or like using it as blackmail, or it's to the detriment of the child. So if you have the opportunity to have those conversations, let me tell you, it's an ongoing conversation. It's God knows. We are not there in terms of communication. We are not there in terms of who does what. We are not there in anywhere. But you start the conversation, and then it goes bad, and then you learn something, and then you do something, and then. So you attempt to navigate through that. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do as gracefully as I can. But of course you have your moments, and it's like, no. Then you come back to yourself.
Has she ever questioned that time you were alone? Why are we just the two of us?
No, she has not. She has never been just the two. We have never been just the two.
You've had family around.
I've always had family. My dad has been so present, wildly present. Even when we've moved out, he'll call in. Maybe umefanya homework? Umefanya wapi? Unajua wewe ni tunabii? Like some funny name and this, and I got a lizard somewhere, and they have those funny stories, so he's been very critical in her life. And then she, my mother, my siblings, myself, again, I've had the privilege of being very present in my child's life, because work has technically always allowed me. Now things have kind of changed, but fortunately she has an idea. She's okay. She's managing okay. But before, ajai and then when she came into herself, that's when we now started having that conversation of, okay, so this, so that. So it's also a journey. And what I'd implore for moms to do is be honest. If you want something to stop with you, please be honest. Kids, of course, gauging on the kid, and amefika what point in their life? What level of truth can they handle? What kind of understanding does my child have? But don't tell kids, kids are bought in the supermarket. Have those very uncomfortable conversations, because I know in my heart I have the best interest of my child until the day that I die. I don't know that someone will have more intense love and
the way
me I have.
That's true.
Or the way possibly her dad might have. And so I want Angela to know that she can come to me and ask me as her point of reference, Mommy, what is sex like? Mommy, how do you navigate through this? How do you handle this and that situation? I would like her to come to me. Because when I tell her, I'm telling her from a place of love. I'm telling her from a place of, I want to expose you. Expose you to the various realities that will come. Having that level of preparedness, because it has to stop somewhere. Because I don't want now in like, how many years, history repeats itself. It's generational. Angela comes up and tells me she's also attracted someone who is, and then she's telling me the same story I was telling my mother. You
want to heal that generation.
Let us do that. And the only way you can do that is ask questions engage, have those uncomfortable conversations. You don't also show your humanity to your children. Mommy, I don't know. Can I let you know? Like, let me find out. I'll let you know. So it demystifies the idea of your parent. The pedestal is over there. Me, my mother, they are there, their parents, and me, I'm over here. So even when I do human things, it doesn't look like they can relate. Now, as an adult, we are having some stories, and I'm like,
and she's like, even me, I went through that, and you're like, I didn't see that.
Mommy, you did what?
I get
what?
it.
You know, and if I had maybe these conversations earlier, you know, maybe the trajectory would have gone different, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Yeah. So is there a way, most of the people are, like, to have this topic about single motherhood, it's also prompted by people who follow me, and there's that pain, I don't call it pain, you're feeling, why am I doing this alone yet? We made this baby together. Why am I having to pay this alone yet? We did this together. Is there a time you've had such emotions and was it pain or I don't know what to call it.
It's hurt.
It's hurt, yeah.
And I get that.
People call it bitter. I don't want to call it bitterness because it's an emotion that is valid to me. Yeah. Is there a time you've experienced that?
Yeah, there is. I mean, even now, there's some days, you know, parenting is not easy. Especially when we're disciplining and I have to, Sasa, I feel like a bad person. And then I'm like, why do you get to have the fun parts?
I know.
And then me, I'm the one here being the bad person. I think something that you need to do in that space is, what I do is I talk to myself. I extend some grace to myself. And I wish I knew this earlier. I wish I knew this. I wish I knew earlier to check myself first. Where before you handle this situation, will you do it objectively? Like for example, discipline. Am I going to beat her because of this thing that has happened? Am I going to have this conversation with her because of this thing that has happened? Or kuna mtu alinikanyaga asubuhi, alafu nikagongwa hapa, ushagongwa hapa hivi?
Ama kwato.
Mara kwato.
Ankle.
Alafu nikategwa the same place, nilikanyagwa, alafu and then she did this. And then now I'm having all that pressure.
Emotions.
So what I do is I isolate myself from the situation. Immediately I feel that I have to isolate myself. And where I go is just take a time out. The way we give them times out, just take a time out. That feeling is valid. If you don't get that feeling, even I think it happens even in a partnership. I could be wrong. Because sometimes you could be the person that is
who's very present.
And then the one who's very present,
physically,
this person is not anakuja jioni, or this person is not around, or they're not available at the time, and this situation needs to be handled now. Right? So you're the one who's doing it now, and you're like, I don't do it now. You know? Isolate yourself from the situation. So it gives you perspective. It goes like, okay, this is your reality. Okay, it's not the best situation that you would want. And then what about partnership is attractive to you? Because you don't want to also get into relationships for the wrong reasons. And do not, don't settle.
Yes.
Don't settle.
Just
I'm cute and I bring this to the table, but I am a single. No. That's you're not like it adds value. It confirms
unakuja na experience.
Niko na mtu. Ninajua hizi vitu, najua ku budget, ninajua. We make good ways. You know, so don't because it happens even with single people who don't have children and you want to have a partner. You're waking up in the morning and you're like, if someone could just cuddle me today, it would be nice. So it's not a feeling exclusive to the experience of motherhood. It's now the experience of womanhood as well. So they're just am I making sense?
Yeah, you're making sense. It's almost like you're saying also, you're not alone. That's a valid. People are going through this.
Very valid. Just juicy. Nilikuwa hapo. And I was like, me this thing, and then, na mama yake ni nani? Shika mtoto wako. And he's like, I can't do this. And then I'm like, watu wananiambia huko ndani, ni wewe by the way sis. Ni mimi. So, So you just remove yourself from that situation.
Yeah.
So you can get perspective. It will give you.
That's nice. That's nice. How's being dating as a single mom? Now you see that there are those challenges. How's that? Is it harder? Nairobi is already hard. Okay, dating is already hard, whether in Nairobi or not.
It's been dynamic. It's been dynamic.
Give it general.
It's been good. It's been good because I've I don't know again if because I have met people. It's what, because me having a child is not a secret.
You put it out
within
there.
The
there are
first,
those women who hide it for a while.
Within the first 5 sentences, hi, my name is Esther. Especially if it is a snack I like. Oh, who is that? You know, there is someone.
Okay, Esther.
Kuangalia
kaini mimi.
Niko na suddenly unasikia niko na sukuma kwa meno.
Joto.
Hit na perspirate niko wow. And guys don't think we get where anakuja na kusali within the first 5 sentences you'll have known I'm a mom. Why? Because it's a fair statement to make to someone. So that they know. And I generally don't take offense when someone, you cannot be ready. You can be ready to have a partner, but it doesn't mean that you're necessarily ready to be a parent.
Yeah.
Right?
So they have to know.
Just the same way you might like tall girls over short girls, or the way you like, thin girls over thick girls. It's a preference. It's something that you have to consider. And so putting out that information right off the bat is very important. I've met very respectable. It's not doom and gloom. I don't like it when people say Nairobi too much because now I'm here over here. Now where are they? Where are we collecting them? I've not had like bad experiences. I've had a few not too amazing experiences, but it's just dating. It just happens.
Were you scared going back to
1,000%?
Were you doubting that now I'm a mom, it's gonna be harder?
Yeah, I felt like when you give birth, your body, there's just some things that don't change.
Yeah, I think
they don't go back.
Yeah.
There's things they snapped out, and then they are now in motion.
Yeah. I can imagine.
So even that alone, you don't feel sexy,
Yeah.
Hey,
the way you are.
uko na mtu
Aki niko nayo.
You're not feeling attractive.
I get.
Am I okay? Am I wearing the right bra? You're just thinking like a girl.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm sounding like I'm dismissive of the idea that you have a
it's
child.
your truth.
But my truth is,
it's your truth.
When
that
I see
is
someone,
what is on your mind. Yeah.
Me, I'm not thinking about Angela. Me, I'm thinking,
wow, snack.
There's a snack over there. He's coming my way.
I
don't know how I'll survive this thing.
Yeah.
Anakuja kusalimia, I'm fine.
Thank you.
Unaenda kwa bafu.
Those are the emotions. You are just a normal.
I'm just a girl, I have girl.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
And then you'll know that I'm a mom within.
Yeah.
So if it's something you want to pursue, if it's going to be a problem, then now we've identified what relationship is this.
Yeah.
Are we? Hey, in the way there are many ships these days. Hey, ship, relationship, partnership, ships. Mingi zote. And so entanglement.
Yeah, entanglement.
So it's I don't know how different it is from dating if you don't have a child. Only the child care part, you have to think amekula supper iko sorted in case I'm too late, breakfast. I'm thinking logistics. Time management. Hapo sasa ndio inaingilia sana because there's a time I'll be called out for a date and I'll be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
And now if there's lack of understanding and justifiably so, uta decide vile. You'll align yourself, yeah? But it's like, I can't. I had scheduled movie night with my daughter,
child,
or we are going here, or I don't have help, I can't get someone, and so on and so forth. So I think that is the biggest challenge, I'd say, because for sure I would not be comfortable
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are things you just have to do.
You have
Priorities.
to do. Priorities,
Yeah,
Bana.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've loved this conversation,
Me too.
especially because it feels like you're very self-aware.
Thank you.
There's been growth. There's been growth to where you are, but there is someone who is just there, and you picked your child and you left. They've either left, they've been left, and they don't know how to come to terms with everything. And where do they start? What do you advise this person who thinks, man, my life is over?
First of all, the privilege of being asked that question is immense, because fact of the matter is, every single day, I'm waking up and I'm making a certain decision. I'm deciding, okay, today you may not feel nice, but look cute. Angalau, give them something to work with. Today you may not be feeling so. You're never really there. Also, my daughter is turning 8 this year.
It's
So
a
it's been
lot.
an
It's
8-year journey.
Yeah, it's still a
If
lot.
we had this conversation at 1 year, at some point I would have broken down. I would have cut.
Yeah.
And so the fact that I'm able to have this conversation, I'm also listening to myself as I'm having this conversation and going like, hey, sis,
Umetoka
wow,
mbali.
look at you, look at your struggles now.
Yeah.
And they've changed and they've evolved. Okay, you've made some progress.
It's almost like I'm asking, talk to that Esther living with the one.
Forgive
with
yourself.
the 1 year old.
Extend some grace. Consistently extend some grace. No one knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
We are all winging it. Extend some grace. Then breathe. We take breath for granted.
You can lose it.
Nakuanga
hivyo ya panic attack.
it takes,
just relax.
Yeah, deep breaths and reflection. Again, I don't know where I read this or heard this. The most clearest vision that you can have of your life is when you're thinking about something in hindsight. After the fact it has happened. Now I'm here, I'm telling you this story. Now I can think about it. Give yourself the opportunity to have a choice. Because sometimes it looks like you don't have a choice. Like now I am a single mother, which I don't know how I feel about that word. Because are there single dads? They're just fathers. I love this guy, Ted Josiah. Love him. Love him. He's giving another perspective of, because they're there na wako wengi, and they're having those exact same emotions that we are having.
That's true.
It's just not as vocalized and as put out there as you can, but give it. It takes time and perspective. So when you're in it, allow yourself the power, the privilege of choice, of knowing that this thing is not happening to me. No, I have the power to make sure that I'm making a small decision every day geared towards becoming whatever it is that I want to be.
Okay.
Because you're constantly not trusting yourself. You decide, today
Am I
I'm going
enough?
Yeah.
You
I'm going
constantly
to work
feel
out.
like
You don't. I'm going to drink 2 liters of water. Trivial things. You don't do it. I'm going to make sure that I take 2 baths today. I'm going to do my eyebrows today. I'm going to scrub my legs today in baking soda. Because, it looks like the idea of self-care looks so luxurious. But when you make small decisions, you start trusting yourself more with the bigger decisions.
Okay, I get it.
So now I can decide, okay, if I leave, will I actually leave? Because the challenge is you don't trust yourself. Because anytime you've said you want to do something, you don't do it. So kitu kidogo tu, nitakata makucha leo. Sawa, by jioni, I'll have cut my nails. I'll do my hair today. As trivial as it is, I'll brush my teeth. When you check out those small boxes, as you're going along, you start trusting yourself even more. Yeah, I think that's what I'd say.
Trust yourself.
Trust yourself.
You can do this.
God has given you everything you need. You are the best person to raise a child.
You are the best.
You really are. For that specific child, that one was for you. So there's nothing that child needs that you don't have.
Yeah.
Everything that child needs, I know.
Yeah.
I have it.
Yeah. I'm so happy. This conversation has shown me it's beyond single motherhood. It's just motherhood.
It's just motherhood.
It's just womanhood. we just put labels on things.
Yeah.
Yes, it's difficult to be a lone parent and
Yeah.
everything, but you're also just going through things the way we are going through things, but just with a label as well.
Yeah.
And it can be hard, but it can be done.
It can be done. It can also be blissful.
Yeah.
It can also be easy. It can be amazing. I mean, your child can do something, and then you're like, God. So those are the things that you have to.
And
also,
it's beautiful how now life turned out because your family came to help you.
Yes.
You know, people
1000%.
isolate and they don't want to go home and they don't know what to do because you're just thinking it's about the money who will help me. But you need that umbrella of support.
And sometimes maybe even if your family has not helped you, delegate that to someone. There's no child, even the children on this, there's no one who was raised alone. You will take that child to daycare so that you can go and cook mandazis and sell and do this and that. But that is community. Redirect your mind. Okay, my mom is not here for me. My dad is not going to be here for me. Is there anyone in the world who... Because when
it's not a relationship,
No.
it's just someone.
Anybody
Yeah.
who is in your corner, that person, you see that one? That one is your community. Use that as your community. You have to shift your perspective consistently.
That's true.
Because even if you're rejected by your family, I won't say they would be justified to do it, but they cannot go beyond how they are seeing, how they are feeling with regards to their disappointment. And you have to give them that space and that grace to allow them to process and go through the emotions of it, whether they turn around or they don't. Now they're not being cruel to just you. That's what I want women to understand. You're not the victim. Okay, you could be. I'm not stretched. But things are not happening to you. Please change it. Yes, things are happening from you going
To the world.
Yeah.
Big one. I've learned. I have learned that one.
I love this
Thank you.
conversation.
Thank you. Time is never enough, but thank you so much, guys. So much. Me, I've learned. I was in class.
You
Niko na notes za revision after
Niko na
this.
notes za revision.
I hope someone has been encouraged by this episode by Esther. Thank you. Like my takeaway is just thank you. I feel like someone will have a fresh perspective because I have had that as we talked. Things are not just happening to me. It's happening from me as well. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, like it, leave a comment,
subscribe.
a good word for Esther.
I always see people in videos doing this.
Subscribe to the corner that she's pointing, join the farm, share this video with someone who actually needs it. Yeah. That would be amazing because the goal is to inspire and encourage someone. Thank you for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.